LiAngelo had a lot of highlights in the Summer League, but the sports world isn't entirely sold on him. To them, his name and Rookie of the Year don't belong in the same sentence. They don't think he has the slightest chance of winning or even being in a situation that would allow him to win. But what if he was in that situation? What if he was in position to have a run at it? What would that situation look like, and how could he win? It's not easy to win Rookie of the Year, and there are a lot of great players that couldn't secure the trophy. Not every player that wins goes on to be a big superstar either, but most of the time they at least leave a mark in the game, and most of the time these players have a few particulars in common. We're going to look at what those are and in what scenario LiAngelo could actually have access to those particulars and be in a good position to win Rookie of the Year. We're going to look at the last 11 players who won the award and break this down. The first thing is usage rate. This is basically the percentage of players used while on the floor, including touches of the basketball. For instance, a low usage rate example would be Dennis Rodman. He's a player that's had some of the lowest player usage percentages of anyone because all he's done is run, box out, rebound, pass, and then he repeats that. He isn't worried about points or assists, and he doesn't necessarily need to be in the play. His player usage was only 10% or below, and even got as low as 6% at times. An example of a player with high usage rate is Russell Westbrook. He's involved in every play while he's on the floor. Tons of assists, tons of points. He has a player usage percentage of over 41% one year. And so that's very high. Now you know the high and you know the low rates. Let's keep going on to star player roles recently. In 2020, players like Steph, Dame, Luka, KD, Joel, Donovan Mitchell, Bradley Beal, they were all in the 30s, which is high. But when you average out the stars with the lower level players, their usage rates percentage by positions were as follows. Point guard was 22.3, shooting guard 21.0, small forward 17.5, power forward 19.7%, and the center 18.5% for usage rating. So point guards had the highest and small forwards had the lowest usage rate typically. When we look at our list of 11 rookies of the year winners, we see right away that 7 of these are guards and 4 of them are forwards. So it's safe to say that it's easier to win Rookie of the Year when you're handling the ball more. Ben Simmons, he was listed as a forward, but when he won back in 2018, I think he was still handling the ball, so we can put him as a point guard. We can almost say 8 out of 11 went to guards. The players that weren't guards were Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, and Blake Griffin. Now, they're all forwards, and we're still on usage rate. So as we look at these 3 guys who aren't guards, Wiggins had a usage rate of 22%, Karl 24%, Blake 27%. So we see that they are average or above average usage rates for their position. But they're rookies, and usually rookies get below the average. So the only rookies getting this involved in their team would have to be coming in high in the draft, have to be expected to revive a franchise. They don't just give rookies the average amount of usage on the court. And so the team has to be really relying on them. There must be some expectations. So let's stop there and apply what we've talked about so far to LiAngelo's situation. First off, LiAngelo wasn't a lottery pick. He took the most unconventional path since LaMelo. If he doesn't get sent to the G League and gets on an NBA team, they will put him at the end of the bench. You can't win if you're not playing, so it's really important the team he gets on. If the Hornets, LaMelo would actually give him a little more pull and a leg up. But if it were a contending team, he would be looked at as like a garbage minute type of guy. Put him in at the end of the game when they're up by $1 million or down by $1 million. And if it was a really bad team, they would have high draft picks and they would be relying on those guys instead of G3. So what I'm saying is this: the first thing LiAngelo would have to do is put himself in position to win, get into the rotation. That means he's going to have to kill in practice. I mean, be ruthless to the point where the coach and the best player on the team are looking at each other crazy. He'd have to be, so noticeable in practice that the coach feels something is missing in the game while he's not in there. Can Jello do this? I believe so. His work ethic speaks for itself. We've seen him running nonstop in the Summer League. So whether it's the Hornets, the Suns, or whoever, the same way that LiAngelo got an invite to the Hornets Summer League after going crazy in their scrimmages, he'd have to keep that same energy, and I don't see why he wouldn't. So if LiAngelo goes to a team where there are guys that he can outwork and show up in practice and the preseason if possible, he can get into position to get minutes because he's going to need a usage rate of probably at least 20% to get what he would need in order to win Rookie of the Year. And if that sounds impossible to you, you may not know much about the Ball family. Now, LiAngelo plays a mixture of a shooting guard and a small forward. Let's start on the small forward position. On average, the usage rate of a small forward is the least in the NBA at 17.5%. And with players like LeBron, Kawhi, Jason Tatum, etc., that must mean you have some really great small forwards and a whole lot of bad small forwards for this position to have the lowest average usage rate. LiAngelo is 6'5", 6'6", and that's not very tall for this position, but he is strong. And if you're playing small ball, he is very strong for this position. But at this position, I would say we haven't seen LiAngelo dominate. Inside of the three-point line, we've seen him make shots, layups, jump hooks, but we haven't seen him have 10 points from this range in the Summer League game. 6 points inside the arc is a good start, but I believe we have to see a lot more of LiAngelo playing bully ball on the inside and making shots with finesse, touches, in order for the NBA to give him an above average usage rate as a traditional forward. He would have to have shown them that he could really dominate inside the arc. And since they haven't seen that, I believe it would be very hard for him to win Rookie of the Year if a team just solely used him as a three. So right away, we can say in order for LiAngelo to win, a team can't use him just as a traditional small forward. I don't think he'd get many touches down low, and we haven't seen him consistently knock down the mid-range against NBA talent, which doesn't mean he couldn't surprise us. Plus, with working with NBA trainers, it does wonders. Look at Lonzo's shot. But being a traditional small forward on a slower half-court offense team, I believe would strip him of his chance at winning. Now, being a small forward on a fast-paced team that allows him to wait at the three-point line at times, that is a different story entirely. But LiAngelo is a unique player, and I think a coach would have to appreciate his uniqueness in order for him to win. Moving on to him playing the shooting guard. Shooting guards have the second highest usage rate because in today's NBA, almost every two guard has the skill to play the one as well. And this is a big reason why many people say LiAngelo couldn't be a two guard. They say his handle isn't good enough. After watching in the Summer League, I actually disagree because the point guard will be doing the majority of the ball handling, and I think the two guards shouldn't be expected to have the best handles if these two things are true. Number one, you don't get a lot of turnovers. And number two, you know how to advance the ball and pass to the right guy. If you, as a two guard, get past the ball coming up the court because they doubled the point guard, as long as you're not getting stripped and the momentum continues because you make the right pass, then that's definitely good enough. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think it may be the best case scenario because LiAngelo can put the ball on the floor. He's not putting on a dribbling clinic while doing it, but he's not getting stripped and he's getting wherever he wants to on the court. So his chances would go up if he played a traditional two guard instead of a traditional small forward. But there is a happy medium. If a team allowed him to play what he normally plays, which is a small forward shooting guard combo, he would have the best chance to win, I believe. Put it this way, LiAngelo is always the first down the court. Small forwards are going to be getting gassed trying to keep up with him. And since he's shorter, a lower center of gravity, he's going to be weighing on his defender's legs as he boxes out and battles in the post. And just when they think they've boxed LiAngelo out and got good position on him, he can just back up and run to the three-point line for an open shot. And that happens a lot. The defense will be the real test. Can LiAngelo defend against power forwards in the NBA? They're taller than him. They have an easy view to shoot over him. Guys like Jason Tatum would be a nightmare for him. But one thing LiAngelo does have that will serve him well at this position is his grittiness. He plays with a high level of physicality. And that's the one thing that does remind me of PJ Tucker with LiAngelo. And we see what kind of defender PJ turned into. So because of LiAngelo's hard work, his grit, and his physicality, I think the offensive reward is worth the defensive risk running him at the 3/2. If the majority of his shots come from the mid-range with the NBA's forwards being a lot taller than him, it's going to lower his shot percentage. So he can take the layups off of back cuts and off of being the first down the court and, work on that jump hook. But I think he should actually be taking more threes than contested two-pointers in the paint. LeVar tells me that his mid-range is a lot better than I know, so I hope to see that. And yeah, you know what? Before I continue, we'll just do a little recap of what I believe will have to take place in order for LiAngelo to win Rookie of the Year. Number one, he's going to have to go into takeover mode in the practices and the preseason. And then number two, once he gets those garbage minutes, he's going to have to be playing super aggressive in the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, which, you know, Ball Brothers play to the end. That's what they'll do. Guys, I know this might sound crazy, but crazier things have happened with this family. And all LiAngelo's got to do is the same thing he did when he went to Charlotte and surprised them during the scrimmage games to get on the Summer League. Okay, the third thing, once number 1 and 2 is done, is he's going to have to probably play his natural position, play that 3 and then /2 guard, because, you know, that's what he's best at. I wasn't going to add a fourth, but I just thought of this. He's probably going to have a really good relationship with the point guard. If it's not Charlotte, if it's not LaMelo, then he's going to have to, you know, probably, I think, hang out with them outside of the game, get a little good camaraderie, team chemistry. That always helps. You want the ball passed to you when you're open. Now, I know, guys, this might sound crazy to you, but crazier things have happened with this family. And this is really all about him doing what he did in the Charlotte scrimmages to get on the Summer League. He's just got to do it again wherever he goes. And if he does those things and gets included into the team game plan to the point where his usage rate is now at least 20%, then he will be in position to have a chance at winning Rookie of the Year. And I'm not going to lie, it's a deep hole that he would have to climb out first to even get to that point, which makes his chances even more slim. But things can happen, like LaMelo, and he was sitting on the bench getting minimal minutes, looking like he wouldn't be in the race due to his usage rate. But the entire team started falling apart like senior citizens, and voila, he was on the court and playing all the minutes he wanted. But let's continue on LiAngelo. When we look at the last 11 players who won Rookie of the Year, they averaged 17.5 points per game. Rebounds and assists were all over the place, but the points look more consistent with a few anomalies. The lowest 10 points, the highest 21 points. With a usage rate of 20%, I believe LiAngelo can get 17 points per game, especially if they're giving it to him in stride or just when he's open. His assists and rebounds may not be high, but if he can get 17 points per game on a winning team, he could be lethal and definitely in the race for Rookie of the Year. Where could something like that happen? Charlotte. LaMelo is going to pass to him when he's open. If he beats out one player in practice and another gets injured, he could get his chance sooner than later. This is the NBA. Injuries are becoming a lot more common these days. Or where else could he go? If he goes to a contender and a few players miss due to a mixture of load management and injuries, then he could have a lot of games on big stages, you know, like televised games to show out. That would also boost his chances greatly. If he gets picked up by a bad team and they give him minutes because he's showing half of the team up in practice and they start winning with Jello averaging 20 plus points, he could win it that way as well. You know, the biggest concern at this point is just him getting in. He needs to make an NBA roster and then have the chance to show his teammates and coaches in practice he deserves a spot. The next biggest concern is LiAngelo's point guard. As we've seen in Summer League, this is a big concern. You know, will he have a point guard who's always looking up the court? Can the point guard make long passes? Because if he doesn't, you know, LiAngelo will just be looking like a track star out there. He's a runner, he's a track star, instead of what we know he is, a basketball player who hustles and can get you easy buckets. Lonzo won an award his rookie year. So did Melo. Melo won a couple. Can Jello do it? People are mad that we show LiAngelo's highlights in the Summer League because his team wasn't winning. But to me, that's hypocritical. We showed LaMelo's flashy NBL highlights all the time, and he barely won a game in Australia. But everyone loves those highlights. They both lost, but Melo had a way bigger role on his team than Jello. Could Jello really be expected to win those games coming off the bench? I don't think so. So Rookie of the Year is really depending on what team you end up, combined with how much your team believes in you. Jello has a lot of hard work ahead of him if he wants to win Rookie of the Year, but this is how he could win.
And for that girl backstage, make it publicly clear, never mind who you thought I was, I'm
Ball Facts. What it do is Ball Facts.
I'm the people's champ. I'm the underground king, and I ain't been